All right, so that's what it is showing. Oh, and my webcam is on the side. Nice. Hi there. All right, get this working. So we're like that. Zoom in. So we can switch sides. You're there, you're over here. Hello, everybody. I think we're going to zoom this window in a little bit. Try to get it to fit. All right, how you doing? Yippee-yi-yay. So let's get that to go away. Get this to pause. The live stream's happening here, so we're gonna get that to go. I should get my link. You gotta do this every time, remember. It's noisy here because I have an air conditioner on because it's hot. It's 90 degrees in Portland. It should not be that hot. Hi, good. All right, so we got that. Hello, hello. So those of you on the live stream webpage, you can watch the live stream there, but I monitor the chat on the YouTube channel. So yeah, it sounds like there's a dryer on, but it's my air conditioner. So it's not your dryer, probably it's my air conditioner. Hi, everybody. So we got that going. Let me get my Facebook peoples know what's going on. So go here. How is everybody on this lovely Saturday? I'm streaming live. Come check out Percussa. Version 1.1 and all the new goodies. It's so cool. And I can't believe the feedback I'm getting from you guys. This is very, very nice. So there, and to the, please stay on this page. Now we can go over here and do my last little share linkage here. Publish. So those of you that have Percussa, if you have questions, ask them. If Aircon Groove's next. Oh. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yes, so let me share that. I've also got this to show you later. 17-year-old piece of gear, which I'm very excited about because I have a new piece of gear from that company coming. We'll talk about that, what that means, why it's kind of cool and exciting what they're doing. Let's do this. To start with, I'm going to play the Percussa demo song that I wrote. There's a video I just put up on YouTube last night where I show how this video was done, and we'll dissect this more, maybe even with more detail than in that video, because you guys can ask questions. No word on Stylus RMX. That's Spectrasonics, and it's up to them as to that. This demo came out great. I was really happy. It started with the piano. And in fact, I wanted to give you guys this preset. So I'm going to figure out if I can do that in the live stream. I think I can. This is the Contact 5, the Grandeur piano. And by default, it has this character to it. It takes it a minute to load all these samples up, so I'm going to give it a minute to load. It's a bright grand. Let me kill my mic for a second. I believe it comes with all versions of Native Instruments Complete and Complete Ultimate. I think. I don't know. But if you go into here, you've got parameters to soften it, and bring up the compression. And I think I also did some equalizing. I brought up the space. I did some other things and changed it from that bright grand into this. And I just love to write with this. A lot of times, I mean, back when I used to work at a music store in Seattle and sold Yamaha and Bosendorfer grand pianos. And a lot of the music I wrote then, I would start on piano, and then once I had the melody and the ideas, I would go into the back of the store where we had the MIDI department, and I would spend the night sequencing up that song idea that I started on piano. And I did that every night for 3 years while not dating girls. I was in my young 20s, and I was not into women, girls, nothing of the sort. It was all music. And I had keys to this music store. And I would stay every night and write a song and record it to tape. I would move the Kurzweil K250 with the Akai stuff, with the Korg stuff that we sold, to set up a little system for writing a song for that night. And maybe like the Kawai R100 drum machine just showed up. So I'd spend a lot of time working with that. That's how I learned the gear so I could sell it. I also made sounds for the stuff I sold. So if you bought stuff in a music store from me, you would get free sounds, and every Thursday night I had synthesizer programming classes. I also taught music lessons through the Yamaha Music School program. I'm one of the, there's only like a couple dozen of us now. There's probably more. But I started with Yamaha Music School when I was 4, and then I became a teacher. And so that cycle of starting as a student and then becoming a teacher of their system hadn't been done a lot when I did the classifications for being a teacher. So I've been a teacher all my life. I love to teach and share. So I've been working on this really cool chord progression that was C minor to E flat. And then E flat over a B flat. So I played the piano part first. And I played it, this was the groove. The heart and soul of this is, how can I do this without messing up I got like that and like that, so I can play from 17. This is Shadow of Death. This is one of the multis. Oh wait, let's do this. And I can say, mute this. I think I can do this. Let's see if I can figure this all out. So I'm gonna go like this. Oh, that's the audio. So I want this right here. So go over here. I'll explain this all down, but I'm just gonna show you the breakdown of how I had this time to do this, right? This is why we do live streams, is I can take my time and enjoy stuff, so. Did I lock solo? No, I didn't. It's here. It's this right here. So what am I doing? Somebody tell me to wake up. So this, solo that. Why isn't that playing everything? Oh, you know what? I think I'd taken it down. I was showing when I did the video. Yeah. Let's look on the mixer page. No? It shows everything. I'm gonna figure this out. Let's recall Shadow of Death. There. So that's the main groove, right? So I had that playing. And then I went to the piano. And I just improvised, and sometimes I get lucky and I get the The B part that I wrote was a surprise. Just I had an idea what I wanted to do, but it just happened. So kind of things happen. So from there, I had the Shadow of Death as the basics. And then I started working on a kit. And I'll show you all these in a bit. But I started working on making a kit because I love to do stuff where there's like a loop. And then you have a track of kit stuff you play along with it. That makes real quick work of sounding like you're real. Because you have some sort of a groove going to keep the stable part. But you have like things changing over time. Just by one track, two tracks. And so I started working on this kit. And then in the end, I ended up making this a bonus multi. And I changed the name. It's no longer called Bonus War Orcs. That was the name when I was working on this kit. But if we go to Percussa, I'm just going to make sure I've updated everything so it shows the latest. It's called Rising Threat is the name of the kit now. And let me... Okay, so this kit is inside of the library. So I added that, and then I added 2 additional string element and a brass element. One is these trombones from Project Sam. They're both in one contact instrument. So I have a contact instrument doing, and my dog. Here's the brass. These are and they actually, when you call them up, they're really bright, but I like the filters inside of Contact because they are actually really organic in nature. And so I start with bright. I wanted the mod wheel to do this, but I couldn't figure out how to get that easily going. I could do the automating and all that stuff, but I didn't. So they're playing, and then you have to have strings. And so I have Symphobia that I've bought years ago, and it's a really nice library of all sorts of cinematic effects, string section, horn section. They have 3 different Symphobias now. I have 2 of them. It has strings, brass, woodwinds, dystopias, all these really cool hits. I show in one of my videos how to take these dystopia, all these really cool, huge cinematic hits, and put them into Super Macho drums. Actually, I think it's Mega Macho drums back in the day. So you could use the interface of Super Macho drums to change those. But the strings, they're marcatos. You've heard those sounds in so many places. So those are the elements used. I also used where I bounce out, and I'll show you this process, but I bounced out some things for the beginning because I didn't want that full shadow of the groove at the beginning. I wanted it only later on, so I'll show you how we do that. Hi everyone, welcome to the group. There's a lot of people watching, it's great. Happy Memorial Day. We must show respect and appreciation. Oh my God. Robert Dudzik just texted me, and he did the dystopian sounds inside of Symphobia. You nut! I love those. I'll show those. I gotta show those now that Robert did those, because he's doing Percussa Volume 2, so that's really funny. So here's the demo. I'm gonna kill my mic, and please enjoy. I couldn't figure out what to call this, but I ended up calling it Rising Threat. So here you go. Okay. So I forgot to unmute the piano, so it wasn't there for the first very moody. It's like this, and I use my 88 note keyboard to get my way down there, low octaves and stuff like that. So let me show you. Right here, I love this part. This is just Percussa all by itself, playing these parts, all the purple parts. See if I can get this to work. So go like that, solo, major 17. That's just so cool. So it's 3 Omnispheres to do this. There's one for the main groove. There's one that's playing the patch, low Bollywood. And then the kit by itself. Then you layer that with Shadow of Death, and it's just like, oh my god. Mod wheel. Because one of the cool things with Shadow of the Death is that the mod wheel brings in a hidden tom fill. And it makes everything get brighter too. And this is why Omnisphere is so perfect for this kind of exploration, because the toms, they're hidden. Part 2, when they pop up, I have them going through an inner space that's set to some of the long, really cool, kind of freaky kind of, which then gets picked up by these delays. And because this is an auxiliary bus, that means it doesn't go away when I set the send back to 0. They just keep fluttering out, so you get this. It's just so fun. And if I wanted to make it a trick that I did to some other tom fills that are hidden is, if you want, let's see. I have it doing it a little bit. Let's have it do it even more. Let's have it start higher in pitch. So raise these guys to be even higher. There's 2 different toms playing. And let's look at this and say the wheel, make it be like a whole bunch of change. So now it'll sound more like you're going from one tom to another. Hey Dennis, welcome. Hear the toms, they dropped in pitch. So there's so much exploration you can do to have 4 patches that are playing, each being triggered by their arpeggiators, and have all of this real-time stuff happening on the mod wheel. Is what really makes Omnisphere, like I've said in my videos, and there isn't anywhere else I can think of I could go to and do this. So that's pretty cool when you get to this level of programming in a plugin that you're doing things. It's not just I'm making EDM pluck sounds that are trying to compete with something from Serum or Spire or whatever. This is stuff not even Contact 5 could pull this off. That's pretty rare air to be in with a library. So I'm really pleased to have shown it and brought it to all of you to play with and work with. So let's look at this. Yeah, Omnisphere, it is awesome, no doubt. So let's pull apart this song a little bit more, and then we'll go through the library, because we're kind of in song mode. One thing I did, you have, and I want to give mad credit to these darn speakers right here. These Genelecs. Check this out. Listen. They're ceramic. They're not made out of wood. They look like weird alien things. All my friends were saying, get Genelecs. I'd try some Dynaudios. I got some Dynaudio 10-inch big speakers in here. And they overpowered the room, and they picked up FM radio transmissions from the Portland area. And I couldn't get rid of the radio. So I sent them back. And everyone said get the Genelex, and I'm so glad. It's the best investment I have done ever, because and what's crazy, these are 6.5-inch speakers. They're very expensive. This is the 4330s. I think they're like $1,800 each. They're very expensive for a 6.5-inch speaker. And I was really fighting with my mind about, I need bigger speakers. I need really to hear that low end. These speakers sound like there's a subwoofer somewhere in the system, but not. And the low end clarity is unbelievable. And I really need that for doing a library like this, because the whole trick, there's a lot of parts. When this is playing right here, there's a lot of frequencies going crazy, and I'm not great at mixing. I'm not a master mixer. There's people far better, but I was really happy with what I was able to get this to do. And whatever it is, I couldn't have done it without these speakers, but I really wanted the drums to be the star, because when you're doing a demo, rule number 1 is you have to hear what the library is clearly, and it has to be the star the whole time. The other sounds have to be good, but your demo was supposed to show off the library that I want you guys to buy, right? So, yeah, Genelex are crazy. If you hear noise, it's because I have my air conditioner on. I'm just apologizing to those of you that are just now joining. But happy Memorial Day. Not Mother's Day, that was last week. My mom is getting flowers again this week. It's crazy. So let's pull this apart a little more. The drum kit, I took this and set it to be the multi-channel version of Omnisphere, and I went to the mixer page and I've assigned, oh, no, it wasn't assigned, because I called up the saved kit. I need to have these set. It'll sound different if I do this, because C, D, E. The toms I assigned to a separate send over here on the mixer. And I have an Alicia on the kick. If we go down here through the sounds, I did a couple things just to boost the sound a little bit. Am I soloing something? Hello? Oh, I'll play the right octave. So this kick this is the Alicia Impressor. This does a really good energy bringing up. Here's without it. It's very subtle, but there is an energy expansion that happens. It's nice. Especially with speakers. These toms, I'm using the Dangerous Audio from Universal Audio. To make them more excited in the high end, and I put a high pass filter at 30 and then lowered the energy at like 260. Because I didn't want this tom. They're stepping on each other, right? So by separating the outputs, I was able to get the toms to have just enough difference that it can kind of like, you got to kind of picture it like, here's your wall of sound. If everybody's down there beating up on that, then every time that they play at the same time, that lower part of the wall gets to be too much. So that's how you get things to stay clean. And then everything else is pretty straight ahead as to the outputs. Auxiliary 4. Oh, I had this going through an RC48 for added reverb, which is nice. So I did those to the kit. Let's hear it now. I wasn't playing it with the proper EQ. So here it is with the proper EQ. Yeah, the toms are sticking out a little bit more. Here's without the EQ. You don't hear them. So you have to be paying attention to the frequency of the sounds, and maybe I should edit that to the kit to give it a little, to get it so that it separates and splits out. So you can do that. I mean, they sound fine without, but to get it in this mix with everything else that's going on, I needed it to be into a little bit higher frequency content. So I did that. What else did we do? Oh, I was going to show you really quickly the automation on the brass, because I was showing you that filter, right? Check this out. So this is all filter cutoff on the brass. So the bright brass, bright trombone ensemble, and then why aren't they playing? Oh, I didn't get the notes. Huh? Let's start here. And you hear the stepping because I wasn't cleaning this up. I could have done this cleaner, but... And then you add the strings to those. But to make these work in the mix, because they could potentially be really big, I have a thing with EQ happening here too. So here's without it. Hear all the low end? That would completely conflict with the toms and the bass in this mix. So I'm high pass filtering them out. And this is a surgical EQ inside of Universal Audio. I could set this to all sorts of crazy steep. I could set about right there. And by doing that, what that means is all this area is where the big drums are, and there's no sounds to conflict with it, not even a little. You want as clean of a mix as you can, and this isn't as clean as it could be. If I was working in a studio and there's an engineer, he'd be a lot more scientific than I am with this, but I'm just roughly saying this needs to be free so that I have energy for the drums. So by doing that, if I take these guys and I combine that now with the kit, check out how this works. Nice and clean. That when that kick hits, I want you to really know it's there, right? And then you add if we add Shadow of Death. Oh, wait. So that's how I kind of got the... So mixing is a challenge, especially in orchestral, because each instrument has a lot of frequency range to it, but you just kind of pick out what is important to get conveyed to the listener. I want the string rosin and the melody that it's playing some upper chord parts. The low energy of the strings is more for just the rosin noise and stuff, so I didn't need the low energy of that. And that low energy would completely conflict, because this Shadow of Death has a very busy... That's a very busy bass drum part. Right? So you have to do all sorts of things to make sure that that is able to be heard with everything else that's going on. Okay? So it's really fun to do this. I did a video on this. Yeah. Any questions? Ask questions if you want. Yeah, Barefoot Audio is... I found out they're in Portland. So I'm gonna go talk to them because they're actually, I believe, to a lot of people considered a step above the Genelecs in this the frequency content and stuff. I see that bar for CPU does that. Yes, yeah. This is the CPU, although it's a little misleading. I'm not having it show all the cores. I have 6 cores, and so I've never been totally clear on CPU if this is a cumulative or of just one of the 6 cores. But when it's playing the song, it is popping up some. But none of this is bounced. Oh, there is some things that I bounced to audio just here. So that's the other thing I wanted to talk about for a minute. So when you're building a cue or you're doing a song, even if it's for pop or something like that, there's verses where there's a set ensemble of sounds, and then there's the chorus or another part of the song where you have other sets of sounds. And in this case, at the very beginning, having this play right at the downbeat, I didn't want that. I wanted it to, like, it's eventually going to get there. I call it the Peter Gabriel way of production, because Peter Gabriel is so great at taking time and letting things breathe and develop, and then eventually you get to where he wants you to go. But I want this to kind of come out of the clouds, and you see this army as they start to move in the fog, and then they're starting to get their gear together, and hear more of them. So I accomplished that by doing this. I took Shadow of Death. Oh. I'm getting an audio repeat. That's cool. There's a challenge with doing this live and a live stream with all the cameras going. Oh, double click it and you'll see all the cores. Oh, there we go. So there's all the cores. Thank you. Appreciate that, Michael. Yeah, so let's play for. Yeah. So what I did to solo this out, I found this sound right here, but I didn't want that tong, the big thing, right? So you go to part 3, and this is made up of 2 layers. The A layer is that big. Don't want that. That's a 25-year-old sample from a Korg M1, believe it or not. But I wanted B. And then I also wanted to add something else. There's this sound right here that's just a really incidental little perky thing that's left, right, and right? And then it pans to the left side. So I have these do this. I took and you right click on something in Logic. There's all sorts of other ways in other programs. You can also just solo it and bounce it and then put it back in place if you can't. But Logic Pro X has an option called Bounce in Place. And it'll let you bounce, set your plugin to be a certain way and hit Bounce in Place, and it will bounce it out. And so I bounced out the audio of this. And if we were to check this out, here, turn off this first. So it's just, and then I added the single EQ. One of the, if you use Logic Pro, a lot of people, they always go for the EQ, and there's all these options. They don't realize that there's a single EQ, which gives you the ability to click between low cut, high, or high cut, or different types of EQ, but the high cut will cut high frequency. And so I have it set to high cut, and then you set Logic to be latch, and then you start playing and moving knobs, and it's recording. And so it records in me going. Oh, it's low cut, right? No, let's see, where it's supposed to be high cut. What's going on? Oh, I got it turned off. Here, turn it on. There we go. So I had the effect turned off. Turn it on. So it starts dark. And then the next one right here is that same audio, but going through an echo. It's getting brighter. And then this one pops up to be fully bright with no EQ on it, but it has an echo. So I can stop and it has a little bit of echo time to it. So when it just fades out nicely instead of being a complete stop of audio. So that's how you can get variations from these grooves. Play the main groove and then solo to find the elements that you want for a certain section of the song or the cue that you're working on. Bounce that out, or just as we've talked about before, you've got MIDI volume you can work with. There's a trick to that you have to set up in Omnisphere prior to doing this. And that's this. You have to right click on any slider that you want to automate, and you have to go down here and you have to register it. Like I've already registered all sliders, but I haven't registered this. So if I right click on this, it says enable host automation. By doing this, I have told a registry to enter this parameter into that registry so that automation can now happen. If I was to just hit latch and start automating without doing this and moving this, it wouldn't record it. It won't record it because Omnisphere has 8 patches which have hundreds and hundreds of parameters. So if you want something on part 5, if I want the filter cutoff of part 5, I have to go over here and I have to enable automation, and it will register it to its registry as part 5 filter cutoff. So it won't do filter cutoff on part 1. It's only for part 5. So you have to do this to any parameter because there are so many parameters that it would be larger than the allotted. They only get like 512. If you want to know, you can go down here to automation and say show current assignments, and it will pop up into your web browser this. And it will tell you what's been registered to its registry that it's keeping an eye on for automation. So the levels for 1 through 8 are mainly it. I don't do a lot of automation of other stuff, but if you want to automate parameters in Omnisphere, you have to do that to that parameter that you want to automate. Also on playback, if you highlight an audio track, right? Yeah, that would work. Yeah, so I've highlighted on instrument tracks, which means it's live and waiting for me to play it, so it's taking up more CPU cycles. Very good. I used to beta test Logic way back in the day before Apple bought them. So it's just my sequencer of choice because I've used it forever. It doesn't matter what sequencer you use as long as you're able to be comfortable and work to your highest levels with. And if you feel you've got that achieved with what you're using, then I'm very happy to say yay. Because the goal is to have it so that your creativity, like if you're sitting at a piano, is how you are when you're on your computer. And if you're like trying to do tech repair stuff and how do I do this and I don't know how to do that, it slows down your creative process. So yeah. All right, I think we've covered just about everything. Oh, there's 2 additional sounds that are used. There's a sound at the very opening. The big wow, right? And it's also just a big bottom support right in here for right? This is Mad Mordor. I have heard this in so many films. It's awesome. This is a nice big, it's on part 3. It's from Omniverse 2. I used 2 sounds from Omniverse 2, which is on sale, by the way. I also use a pad. My fluttering pad. And if we get over here to where it's used, I'll show you. I use this as a transition effect. And I talk about this in the YouTube video, but I might as well talk about it now too. So the mod wheel brings up distortion, make it nice and dirty. And so I use that along with volume automation right here. Gets there a little bit, now it gets stronger. Here comes the strong. So all I'm doing is doing a volume up and then immediately down while bringing the mod wheel. And it makes a really nice transition without, you know, I could produce so much more into this with gongs and noise sweeps and stuff, but I kept it simple. So those two sounds from Omniverse 2 are used to add a little synthy stuff at a couple points. I let it stick out and be a star for a second, then go away. Okay, so that was all fun. Really happy with how that turned out. Let's look at the library. So Percussa Volume 1.1. I spent this last week working non-stop so that every one of these grooves has a kit version right here. All starts on C. I should get my little environment MIDI shower. So let's do this. If you guys don't know this, let me show you. This is, everybody asks, where does my little MIDI thing show up from? And that's right here on clicks and ports. If you go down to here to new, down this list is a keyboard right there. So that's this guy. And I can just zoom this and say hide cables and make this go away. Zoom this like that, like that. This is good enough for rocket science. So you can see, if I zoom this up, have this here so you can see. Now I can also add, I don't have it right now, so let me add it real quick, a slider. We'll do horizontal, why not? And I need to see my cables and ports again, please. So I can take my sound, wait, see, I want to go from here, out of here, into here, out of here, into here. And then double click this. And I made this go away, so I need to double click there to see. This is supposed to be mod wheel. And not control 7, but controller 1. And now when I move my mod wheel, it will move in real time. You can see it. It's a little confusing with it being sideways, but you can deal. I'm sure you guys can deal. All right, so let's snap positions, turn off cables. So we'll just have this down here at the bottom. And then have this like that. So you can see when I'm using the mod wheel. And here I can double click here to make that go away. There. Very professional. So these are features built into Logic. There's people that have spent way too much of their lives making like complete editors for Logic for certain synthesizers, you know. I mean, whole screen is nothing but knobs to control parameters. I just use it for the mod wheel. It's helpful. So you can see, and you can see the notes. So C is where we start. It's the map. And they're lined up. So you have Shadow of Death. And then next to it is the kit. So all of these have kits. I don't want to go through all these because I've done this already before, right? Perfectionist. So you have kit version. Uh-oh. I forgot to fix this. I have to transpose this up an octave for the kick. So some of these sounds need transposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the kick drum on the kit for Protectionist isn't right. Sorry. Oh my God. More things to fix. I'll fix that. Xenomorph Radical. This is the new groove I added this week using the sounds that Robert Dudzik made. And the mod wheel is a cool thing. Hey, Ready Studio. Thank you. Glad you like Percussa. Yes, Michael. I'd messed up that patch. I'll fix it. In fact, check this out. This is why I like technology. So let's fix this. The Perfectionist kit. My goal when I call up the kit is to have the same vibe as the groove so you can replace it. So this kick is definitely wrong because it's an octave off. So octave up. The other parts I transposed by semitones so that each was to C. So the one on D should be up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So go up by 10. The side stick, because key transpose is on, it's off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. For the second sound. There it is. And then part 4 is 7. 5, 6, 7. It's a melody sound, so it's... This is transposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then part 6 is a hi-hat. It needs to be up 3. That sounds better. So we save this multi. Save. Are you sure? Yes. Now, let me give it to all of you to download. Watch this. Go to the Steam folder, to Omnisphere, to the multis. You'll have to place this in the multis folder yourself. If you can't do that, don't do this. If you can, go like this. And let me call up my Dropbox. We like Dropbox here, my friends. We do, we do. Let's go over here to my freebies folder. And I'm going to put this into the comments. This isn't going to work if you're watching this live stream after the fact. It will be one of these things where this will be updated in the actual library. I'm going to replace it as soon as I get done with the live stream. But here, where is Groove Protectionist? Copy the link. I don't know if they will let me put that into the chat, but I've just put it into the YouTube chat. Let me know if you get it. Right over the old one. Yeah, if you're doing install Omnisphere for the 1.1, just reload it and it will overwrite version 1. It will just replace it. Let me know if that link I put in the chat at YouTube works or not. I haven't done that before, but we'll see if that works. But anyway, the kit's fixed, and I'll upload that to Omnisphere. Yeah. Installed version 1 last week. Does it install? Yeah. So if you've installed 1.0 last week of Percussa, all you have to do is say install Omnisphere right here. Select the new one, and it's 1.1. Although the library name is still volume 1. I didn't rename the volume. I wanted it to stay just volume 1. So when you get it into Omnisphere, it will say volume 1, just like this. But when you get to the multis and you look, you will see where it says kit after every one of these. If it doesn't, then you're at version 1. All these are new. All the where it says kit is new. The bonus drum kit for Rising Threat is new. Okay. The page link works. Good. That's so cool. So you can get that, put it into the Steam folder in the multis. It goes right here. Let me show you where it goes. Steam, if you're going to try this, if you're going to try to replace something like this, you go to Omnisphere, to the multis in the settings library, go to multis, Percussa volume 1, and then the stacked patterns is the folder where I put all of these. So you just replace it there. You can see it right. Protectionist kit. You could. It's the same name. So when you put it in, it'll say overwrite. Say yes. The date modified should be 12/48 today. And by doing that, next time you load up the Protectionist kit multi, it will play properly with the right pitches to the sounds. All right. Now to the kits, I did not save out every one of these as a separate patch. That's just that'd be too much. There's already 700 patches in the library, and I just want to emphasize one thing on the patches because it's really cool. I'm going to initialize this multi. If you go to the kits, if you go to the patches and you select Percussa Volume 1, anything down the list, once you get past the BPM stuff that says tuned, these are all really cool because by themselves, a lot of them are really cool. There's all sorts of times you need subtle things to have melody. They're in tune. But if you turn on layer B, it's got a hidden sine wave. And from there, you could take the sine wave, replace it with a sample, or go in and use different waveforms. But it's set up for you to be programming with and making sounds with. I do that also just to make sure it's in tune so that you can... Like a sound like this. If you install my bonus presets, you could quickly go to Common, go to the plugin group effect racks down here to mix, like choose magical delay verbiage. And just by adding the effects that give it some high end, some reverb and some chorus, off you go to work with. So that's the case with all of these things that say tuned. So there's a lot of secret patches hidden inside, just waiting to be played with. So that's a part of the library. I'm actually going to be pulling out a lot of these tune things to work with for the next library I'm working on as an attack element to use with some other stuff that I'm working on. It's really, really cool. What folder? So you would go to the Steam folder. That would be Steam. So you'd go, once you find where your Steam folder is, which if you don't know where your Steam folder is, for once and for all, let me show you. If you hit the Spectrasonics logo, if you go to Diagnostics, it will take it a minute, especially in my case because I have so many patches. It has to add them all up. And it will give you the number of patches, the number of sound sources, the number of size of the database, all that kind of stuff. And then right here, your Steam folder is, and it will tell you where it's located. That is where Omnisphere is looking with its all-knowing eye to find its patches, its multis, its samples. It can only look at one Steam folder. So once you know where that is, then it's Omnisphere, Settings Library, Multis, and then Percussa Volume 1. Here, I can get rid of this. Percussa Volume 1, and then the stacked patterns is the folder that has all of the presets. All 96 presets are here. I put the 97th, the drum kit is in split sounds because it sounds, there's no pattern to me, means there's sequencing going on. Hey, Kid Anthem's joined us. Welcome, Kid. So that's how that works. Also, just so we're clear, if you have the bonus presets, all of my libraries come with bonus presets. And I answer this question so many times in email. If you go presets, there's a user folder now, and that's where the user presets go. Oh, that's the other cool thing. That's the other cool thing. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing this. The other thing that took forever, I went through and pulled out every single presets. If you go here to all the BPM stuff, every one of these has an arpeggiator pattern, right? Well, every one of these patterns is now saved as a preset in Percussa. So if you go down here to the list, I found out you can do nested folders, by the way. Oh, it's not here. I must have moved it when I was making the master file or something. But Percussa has a preset folder. Let me see why it's missing. This is fun. So where is Percussa? Into here. Here we go. Where did I put the volume? Well, I don't think I can do this in a live stream right now. Anyway, you guys have in your folder, I don't have in mine, a folder that says Percussa, it says Plugin Guru Percussa Volume 1. And you open it and it has like the OMG where it's got everything pulled out by high, mid, and low for the arpeggiator presets. I know I did the work, I backed it up and saved it, but this, I've been copying things when I make my master files and must not have put it in there and didn't have a chance to check before the show. Sorry about that. So you would go to that and then you have 289 presets. So those go right here inside of the user arpeggiator folder. The effects folder down to racks is where you put preset folders that I've provided in the bonus files folder that comes with every library. There's also envelopes, so if you make the effects go away and go to envelope, and if you have granularity and you have creature, well, you have granular. If you have creaturesque, there's the granular presets that come with creaturesque, which is on sale, just so you know. It's one of my favorite libraries because of all the auto tuning to the samples that I did with Melodyne. So yeah, it's a lot. There's 289 arpeggiator presets, all the kits, the extra kit added this last week. So it's been a busy week. So that is Percussa. Let me see. Any questions from anybody? Yes, thanks, Kid. Kid's pointing out, even though I call it cinematic percussion, there's a ton of stuff in there for all sorts of things. Not just for, any of these grooves by themselves. Especially the mid. In fact, watch this. Let's go multi and play for a minute. Let's turn on stack mode. Part 2, let's go to Airwave Volume 2, because he did some really cool things that are kicks and stuff. So go to part 3 and go back to Percussa. See what we can add to this. Let's go to like the high stuff or another mid thing. And something like this, I don't need all these hits, but it's an arpeggiator pattern. So unlike people, Stylus RMX, I can go in. You can modify it. Go to part 4. You can build up dance grooves in all sorts of genres with these cinematic sounds because they're just really cool, creative, percussive things. So go to the high stuff. Go back to BPM. High is H, so that's the beginning. So don't be misled that this is only for somebody trying to do film cues, because right? So it's great for all sorts of genre stuff, for pop, for side beat, for all sorts of things. All right, if there's any questions on Percussa, ask away. I'm gonna take you guys down memory lane a little bit. I was all excited. I've ordered the next new synth from Novation called Peak. Should be here in June, July. And I've had a nice side relationship. I didn't do patches for this directly. But I did a demo song for this, so I wanted to show it to you. This is the Novation Nova. Right here. 17 years old. Came out in 1999. And it has a really, I will never sell this thing. I love the quality. It's got a warmth to it. 3 oscillators, great pads. And I did a demo song for it. So I'm going to play you a demo song that I did 17 years ago. And what's fun, because this can do, I think, 6 parts at once. Yeah, it's got 6 parts. And so I could only use 6 parts. So this is 6 parts in this demo song. And check this out. So I'm going to kill my microphone, and this is Novation Nova, playing something I did 17 years ago. Let's see. Here's the breakdown. Now you know that opening melody, I've transformed it into this 5th chord thing. It's the same melody, but then I bring it back to the bell at the end, so check it out. And it's cool because you could automate effects, which was kind of rare 17 years ago. So demo 2 of the Novation Nova is yours truly. Not something that I let Korg know about back in the day because I was not exclusive, but they want you to be exclusive ideally. I did things on the side. I worked on the very first version of the V-Synth for Roland. I did a couple things with Yamaha on some things. Long part of history. It's all there. It's awesome. So I'm curious, and I'll do some comparisons when it's here. We'll do maybe a video on it. The new Peak, what really has me intrigued is the resolution of the oscillators. Not to mention the fact that it's digital oscillators, but you know, I'm running at 44.1 kilohertz right now. Trying to find sleep. Skippy won't let me. Oh, I'm not going to apologize for that. That's a compliment. Thank you. But the new oscillators in Peak are running at 125 times the resolution of 192 kilohertz audio. It's 24 megahertz. Yeah, 24 megahertz oscillators. I was going, was it megabytes? So that resolution is really exciting because between that, then going into an analog, the rest of the synthesizer is analog with 3 places with distortion. Should be really cool. Yeah, I'm recording this as well as some other things for what I'm working on next. In 3 weeks, I'm recording cello. Can't wait. Should be fun. What else do we want to talk about? Somebody ask a question. I wasn't sure if I was going to cover anything else. I could show you guys Creature-esque, which I haven't shown in a while. I was just showing a friend of mine that library, and it freaked him out that it had what it had in it. So if you haven't seen Creature-esque, I can spend a few minutes, and that library is so cool. Use a cinema-like kick with space and verb. Next library I can't announce exactly yet because I'm still working on it, but I'm leaving Tuesday for 4 days in Northern California. I'm going to go hang out with the Redwoods. I'm going to fly my drone, get some cool drone footage of the Redwoods. Can't wait. I could show you drone footage, some really cool drone footage if you want to see drone footage. Taking my dog, yes. Dancing in the woods, man. Let's play the Creature-esque for a minute. I want to show you that because a lot of you guys might not realize one of the fun things with this is a library that Kathy Talbot did of vocal samples that she sent to me, and I worked with her and coached her on what it should have and what she would do and all that kind of stuff. What will be the new inspirations? There's inspiration everywhere. Oh, by the way, Creature-esque, one thing that's really cool is it's got my dog. And I even looped it. Yeah, I'm bringing my recorder for sure. There's the Miami, or actually Maui. I went to the beach in Maui. But what's really fun with this is down here, if we get to the phrases, Kathy sang these different, like, Latin. right? And using that by itself, you could buy phrase libraries all over the place that hard to use. So I used Melodyne, and Melodyne allowed me to pull out all of the pitch changes. So now it's got this vocal changing stuff happening. And then I mega magicked it with the mega magic stuff. So if you go to Latin 4, looped, and then make the envelope nice and slow and a long release, and you have really... So doing that to samples was really kind of fun. Yeah, Athena is definitely paid. She's paid in balls for her sounds, and she loves horse hoofs that are filled with peanut butter. So there's talking words. The other thing that's fun with this library is all the phrases.
Bloody.
Death. Death.
Really cheery for summertime.
Death.
Death. Death.
Evil. 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 Suffer. Suffer.
But all the bonus patches were so cool. Taking the vocal stuff to new places. Athena does bass. I think Tim did this. Oh, Casey did this. So I had Tim Dale, Casey, Exosun, Laurent Verones. I think Jason Schoper even did some stuff as well. Yeah, and what did I do with these? I made them sound like synths. If we go to author, to Tim, look at all these people that worked on the library. It's really fun to have. But Tim, that's really useful, man. Each person, that's what I like having lots of people work on these libraries, because everybody approaches it differently. What Jason's gonna do to the sounds is different than what Casey's gonna do to the sounds, you know? Because Jason leads worship services in a church. Exosun does trance remixes and DJs at all sorts of clubs. So it's a whole different take on. And I love the Pacific Northwest because Casey just come out here and was hanging out with he was touring with the band. So there's vocals as well as all this other really cool. And like I talked about, the granular presets are really cool on this. So if you were to go to all and go up here to something like one of those phrases, the Latin phrases. Then turn on these. You can get all sorts of really cool things. But It's summertime. Yeah, Creaturesque and Percussa would be really cool together. Good point. All these kind of... moving Oz. I did this Mega Mod show. Moving... Cool stuff. So because it was originally with pitch intervals and then Melodyne to remove them, it just gives it this different thing that other vocal libraries don't have. So if you need inspiration, it's a fun stuff. All right. What else should we talk about, play with? Should we see drone footage? I love this drone. This drone is so fun. And I'm really excited that California state parks allow drones. So that's good news. So if we go to right here to the database. Did I put this in here? I think I did. So check this out. I have new video footage I did of the wildflowers here in Oregon. Check this out. Isn't that cool? And this is all wildflowers in the front. There's footage like that. This is a long pan out. Check this out. Started with this tree as the focus. And then I have it going backwards and going up in height at the same time. So cool. Don't need a pilot license. I need my, I've registered with the FAA. And if I was to use these in marketing to do promotion for business, I would have to, there's a test I have to take that I haven't taken yet. So I haven't done that. But I can share my video. This is Oceanside. It's awesome to be at the ocean. And I'm going to find this one footage in particular. Check this out. Down below, see all those little dots? Those are sea lions. And I'm way out by this beautiful sea stack. Check this out. We'll back out and fly around it. I'm like a half a mile away from where I'm staying. This is over the water, way out. And I eventually fly over. Check this out. I fly over to this sea stack that you think it's solid when you're on the beach. And you fly out, and you find out there's a hole down the middle of it. And not only that, but then I line myself up here and I try to do a flight. And check this out. This is what was so revealing and so awesome. Check this out. And I didn't know it was going to be like this. So I'm setting the exposure. You can adjust the exposure from this remote while the picture's being fed to your iPhone a half a mile away. It's crazy. But check this out. It's like a bridge over the top of it. Like it's hollow throughout. Is that crazy or what? And from the ocean or from the beach, you think it's solid. And actually the reality is it's hollowed out. It's so cool. So here's footage of what this looks like from far away. There it is right there that I travel out to and see. So you can see, I like to go right over here and do photography at sunset. It's a really cool spot, really beautiful. But yeah, I'm slowly flying out there. It's so cool to have a drone. So I'm going to use that when I go to the Redwoods. See what we come up with. Yeah, I thought about flying through it, but drones aren't cheap. And if it lost reception and crashed, I would never get it back. I'm not going to swim out there. All right, well, thank you guys for joining. We're going to do future live streams on like creating music in certain genres or using just one library. What could we do for writing some music? Yeah, high-speed trace through the whole... I know. I imagine that, and I pictured doing that. We'll see if I'm feeling, risky. Yeah, the West Coast is beautiful. Glad to be here. Well, I'm glad you guys all joined and hung out. Thank you for watching. If there's any questions, I had someone on live stream asking me why I'm selling the library inexpensively like this. And it's just because I want it to be something that everybody can afford and they don't torrent it. If it's in an affordable price range, then I have lots of customers that are younger kids that are starting out that aren't doing full film work. And I want them to be able to buy it. So I make these libraries at a price point where I think I can sell lots of copies to lots of people. And I'm not a big business. I'm not like, I don't have huge overhead and I don't have, 15 employees or whatever. I don't have this stuff that a lot of companies have. It's just me and my website. So I try to make it so that it's affordable for everybody. I want it to be where everyone can afford to buy it instead of stealing it. Because most people with a lot of the really cool sample libraries, they tell me they haven't bought it, but they have it, And I'd rather people could afford it. So that's my philosophy for now. It might change and become $99 in 6 months, so you better hurry up and buy everything, right? I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. Okay. Happy Memorial Day. Respect to everybody in the armed forces. If there's any of you guys watching. Good. Glad it was a good evening. It's afternoon. I'm going to go do some hanging out with my daughter now. So we're going to go do some stuff. Have a great weekend. The sale is 30% off everything but Percussa. Percussa is 10% off until June 1st. Then everything kind of goes back to being its normal retail, affordable. Oh my gosh, that's a decent price. Now it's at the crazy, stupid prices. All right. So thank you again. Be well. Be safe. Talk to you guys later. Let's go over here and say, see ya. Bye. Oh, bye from Holland. Yay. We have people Washington State. Yay. I love how, I just saw the news. Greg Allman passed away. Sad day. Pioneer. We're losing all the good ones, aren't we? it's like I'm getting into that age group with other people. It's like, oh, he wasn't that old. It's like, wow. Okay. You guys are everywhere. I've got Holland, Poland, Seattle, Italy, UK. That is so awesome. I love that. All right. See you later. Be well, be healthy, be happy. See you soon.